Quid est veritas? What is truth? Many today still echo Pilate's skeptical question to Christ, and the answer has important social implications. The search for the truth is at the heart of the identity of the human person. Consequently, Catholic social thought has a great deal to say about the truth as a common good that is at the heart of the human community. It also has a great deal to say about our social obligations, rights, and privileges in regard to the truth. St. Thomas Aquinas defines truth as an adequate correspondence of the human intellect with a given reality under consideration. Our human thoughts are true when what we think corresponds rightly to whatever reality we contemplate considered in itself. Social life is largely composed then of the giving and receiving of truth in a shared life with others. A great deal of this is based on human faith and trust, as we depend on others all the time to communicate authentic and accurate truth to us and to be true to their word in social situations. Truth is at the heart of faithful friendships, family life, professional promises, authentic education, social communication, and the pursuit of political justice. Consequently, we can enumerate a series of natural rights that stem from human beings' natural orientation toward the truth, and we can also enumerate a series of offenses against the truth that are to be avoided if we are to seek to live justly, charitably, and peacefully with others in genuine human fulfillment and happiness. First, human beings have a natural duty and therefore a natural right to seek the truth. And they have a right to education in the truth, both in the theoretical domain and in the practical domain. In other words, people have the obligation and right to seek to understand the nature of the world around them and of the Creator. But they also have the right to seek to understand how to live well and practice a vocation or trade that will allow them to flourish. This is all within the context of a larger right to religious truth, which enjoins human beings to seek the truth about God and to acquire religious convictions in accord with their conscience, without external constraint. The Second Vatican Council states things in this way: it is in accordance with their dignity as persons, that is, beings endowed with reason and free will, and therefore privileged to bear personal responsibility, that all men should be at once impelled by nature and also bound by a moral obligation to seek the truth, especially religious truth. They are also bound to adhere to the truth once it is known and to order their whole lives in accord with the demands of truth. It follows from this that people also have a natural right to communicate the truth within just measure, taking account of natural rights to privacy and the importance of justice in social communications. Truthfulness is a virtue that consists in telling the truth in the right way, in the service of justice and love. Social communications should seek to communicate truths that promote the common good of society and the dignity of human persons. They must avoid demagogy and ideology and should not be employed in the service of totalitarian states, which systematically falsify the truth, exercise political control of opinion through the media, manipulate defendants and witnesses at public trials, and imagine that they secure their tyranny by strangling and repressing everything they consider. This brings us to the question of offenses against the truth. First, we can mention the basic obligation to avoid false witness against others, or lying, which comes in various forms that include rash judgments, detraction, which is the disclosure of another's faults without valid reason, or calumny, by remarks contrary to the truth that injure the good name of another. Flattery, adulation, and boasting are other forms of disservice to the truth that commonly appear in social life. More seriously, we can speak of outright lying, which consists in the deception of others. This vice becomes more serious or less so, depending on the nature of the truth it deforms, the circumstances of the act, the intentions of the one who lies, and the harm suffered by its victim. Human errors or deceptions are more serious when they have to do with higher subjects like political justice, religious and scientific truth, or scientific discovery. They have greater social impact when they greatly affect the good of a family, community, or nation, or when they can give rise to the loss of human life, or the honor of someone's just social reputation. Lying is destructive of society because it undermines trust among human beings and tears apart the fabric of social reputations. To respect the truth in society, we must cultivate the intellectual virtue of studiousness and the moral virtue of truthfulness, combined with charity, justice, and prudence, which help us to know when and how to communicate the truth with zeal and love of others. This is especially important for people involved in professions concerned with social unity and truth, those who hold religious titles or political office, those in law, education, and in the press, but it applies to everyone on some level across the various facets of their lives, both personal and professional. Lastly, we should note that truth and mercy always go together. The more we confront the truth about ourselves and others, the more we see how greatly we all are in need of the mercy of God and of one another. Authentic mercy is based on the truth and open to the truth. Truth without mercy can readily become inhumane, while mercy without truth can readily become vacuous. A society that becomes gradually both more truthful and more merciful is one that becomes inwardly stronger spiritually, as a society that protects and assists persons to become more perfectly themselves, made in the image of God. The vocation to seek and communicate the truth, then, is at the center of the human vocation to authentic happiness and to profound holiness.
In the next episode, we'll see why you might not want to play the piano alone. If this is the first episode you've watched, we recommend you watch the introductory episode of this series next.